Hey guys, I am Cat, and today I want to talk about my game Ruin Runners TTRPG. I'm super proud of this. This is my first first TTRPG that I've actually finished. So I want to talk a little bit about the changes that are coming to it and going forward, what the next step in the development is going to be. Um, yeah, so we're gonna do a little run through. What we've changed recently is we've went through, and I can jump to. So we've went through and adjusted the roll to hit values. The original roll to hit values, after doing the rifle class for Poppycock Volume 3, I thought were a little too generous. Um, I I don't want anything to be super like super easy, and my worry with making it what it was I might want to change that, but overall, a little too easy. Um, so I've messed with that. We also went through and switched this. So I forgot I'm not showing the cursors. So we've switched the like the breast image here. The original was just a random symbol that I'd come up with, and I'm like, oh, we gotta switch this. So the next steps that are coming to Poppycock, or not Poppycock, Jesus, I'm sorry, I've been working on that so long that my default is just saying Poppycock. Next steps that are coming to us is when we work in the monster manual, and we're going to working on a Ruin Runners TTRPG, kind of like not animation, but like something kind of like Hunter the Parenting. It's going to take place with. It's going to start with a runner basically entrapped. Uh, her whole party gets wiped, and some other runners end up finding her. She's got no memory. I know, cliche, but it's just easier to do it that way, you know, because New World gets everyone to check it, be able to like, oh, all this cool stuff, and all I can do is worry about so much baggage with it. But we're going to be starting development on that. We're also going to be starting development on the monster manual. The monster manual is going to take a little bit priority. Um, I might focus on the animation thing, but just realistically, the monster manual needs done. We've got this whole player's guide done, and I've got a supplemental monster guide, but it's not. It, it's a little bit rough, just to keep it hundo. Um, but we've also went in and adjusted some of the values on um, the weapons. Again, I didn't want people to just go, oh, well, every time I'll just do a weapon skill because they're so easy. I get the thinking behind that. It would save your AP. The problem with that is it really would kill the vibe, you know? And it would make it less fun. But super happy with this, how this turned out. Uh, but, but no, we made really good progress on. Actually, here, I can show off the new class. Let's see. 1 second. Pause. Okay, well. Alright, I'm back. Okay, so this is Poppycock Volume 3. This is a zine that I just finished. It's available for $10 on itch.io, Coffee, and Gumroad. I highly recommend checking it out. Let's jump to this one. Okay. Come on. Sorry, 1 second. It's glitching out. There we go. Okay, it's back. Alright, so this is the GG class. It is a more or less sniper class. The cool thing about this class is that you've got a skill called long shot. This allows the runners to be able to shoot, to shoot in the dark. Well, not in the dark, but allows them to shoot in the non-combat, because Runners is divided up into combat and non-combat, and when you're in, it's like two separate states. So like you're not gonna be able to, let's say on like D&D, you whip out your bow and you just shoot in the dark. Listen, if your DM allows it, um, I think whatever is best fun at the table should be done, just as thing of practice. If your DM allows it, then fine. But the game really isn't set up to be like that. So the Juji, essentially her skill, makes it so that she can do that. It's not long. I've got it so it's just 10 feet of the runner. The idea behind it when I was making it was that the runner can run away, shoot, and kind of chip off some damage before they get caught. And super happy with how this turned out. Unfortunately, I did accidentally lose the original arts PDF file. Super freaking sad about that, guys. Super freaking sad. But overall, pretty happy with how this one turned out. We've also got the two minor classes, Snake Eyes. Did I? Okay, good. It does have the white. Snake Eyes and Grit Determination. So originally, I was thinking I was going to do a full Gambler class, and I still might. It's still on the table. But this is essentially a little, like, it basically makes it so that if you roll two of the same one, it like gives you an extra damage. Super fun. Honestly, Snake Eyes is super good. Grit and Determination, down the road, the idea is we're going to have a class that really thrives on taking on status effects, so that'll be good in the future. It's not, I mean, it's not terrible now, but it's not super. The cool thing with this is that those status instances count if they're good or bad. So you can have positive statuses, and that skill can essentially help you out. You just need to make sure you're coordinating with your Sawbones, because they've got a bunch of status inflicting moves that that are actually positive. So, but all right, well, let's jump over to Photoshop, and then I'll make it that way so that I can show you guys, do a little visual thing of what I'm thinking. Okay, let's see, there we go. All right, we got a few to-do lists. We've got to get the monster manual up. Nice. We need the monster manual up. Let's see, monster. Sorry, none of this is all just live. And then we need the show. All right, these are the current to-dos. These are not the down the roads. So down the road, I want to do a full book one. Full book of the main runner's guide. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm happy overall with it, but there is some art in there that I'd like to tweak. I really think it'd be better, frankly. And I also would like it to make it so when I go to print, the full runner's guide could be essentially like a final product. Originally, the idea was I was going to do that with the current runner's guide, but my idea with that was to copy Mothership, the Mothership TTRPG, and how they have a half fold. And I'm not saying it's not just because there's not more to it than just this, but I think one of the really clever things about that is it cuts down on the printer cost by like a bunch. And I'm talking about hardbacks and everything like that. Realistically, you could make those yourself, just with a printer, and you don't have to worry. You don't have as much overhead. I felt like. But I'd really like to move to a full magazine size. I think I can get cooler stuff in there, and the problem is the half size is really limiting, and I do all my stuff to scale. So I could shrink it down, but I'd rather make the art stuff to scale. It just looks nicer. And I'm not saying that any of the art in that book looks bad. I'm just saying for me personally, that's what I'd like to do. And I feel like if I do magazine size, I can do a lot more interesting stuff with the layout. And I'd like to be able to put more in. Specifically with the lore, the original book, I wasn't able to get as much lore in as I wanted to. It was because of just space constraints. And I also was trying to get it done. But, no, I'd like to do a full runner magazine, like full runner one. The goal when we're like fully funded and everything's taken care of bills wise is to make it so that we release a monthly adventure type setup, and then a yearly like an add-on runner's guide. Essentially, you'd have more stuff for like once they get past a certain point with the class. I think it's like 10 is the max. No, I know it's 10 is the max amount you can level up in one class. Now, don't get me wrong. Personally, if I'm the GM, I'm letting you go back and you can double dip into that. I don't know what that would look like, but the idea of this is that you'd have multiple classes that you can go into. I'd like to do something kind of like it's Fire Emblem. essentially, certain classes can have like a higher feature if you get to the end of it. So I'd like to do that in the 10 to 20s player manual. The cool thing with that is essentially it would just be additional classes, some additional rules. The idea is that yearly it would release another 10 levels with more classes that are either a little more challenging, because the idea is the main player's guide should be something simple. Like everyone, including like your average Joe, should be able to go, oh, the player's guide, I can get this down super easy. Little average Joe. Oh, actually, there we go. There, it's average Joe now. The idea is that the average person could have it down really easily, and then you'd have Mr. Advanced Runner over here. Let's give it him, and then he's gonna need a cool headband because a bunch of cool runners have headbands. Mr. Advanced Gamer, and then he's probably doing like a thumbs up. Yeah. Mr. Advanced Gamer here is focusing, like, you're able to get more and more stuff out of it. The idea is I want players that have a long one to be able to have more options, because I feel like right now some of the options are a little limiting. It was really fun to make an additional class and additional minor classes in Poppycat Volume 3, but I'd really like to make it so that there's, even if it's purchasing, like involves purchasing, I'd like people to be able to have a little more options. Specifically especially with the minor classes, because the idea behind the major and the minor classes is that multi-classing is encouraged in the game, and I really wanted to make sure that that was pushed. So I want to make sure both these people are serviced, but this guy, I want it to be super simple to jump in. Like, I want him to have a nice. Here, let's see. Do average. Actually, that's mean. Let's do new. Do new and old. Okay, I want the new guy. I want him to be able to have an easy play experience. He needs to be able to be easily onboarded, as tech bros say. I'm sorry, there's copy text bros. That's just the easiest way to say it. But easy getting into the game, like super easy. I want him to be able to just pick it up. And that's also the reason why I kept it short, is because I feel like super long books can be super intimidating to new players. And it's really hard when you're just the player. You're like, I don't want to lead any of this lore because of how it is. I think currently the game already offers this, but I want to make sure that a unique play experience is being offered. I really think that given the combat mechanics, it's interesting enough where it's different. The only thing that worries me is that the new guy right here may be super into D&D, and D&D is great. I don't know with the new one. I can't speak of the new one, but I really want to move away from that. So that's the only challenge I can see for the new guy here. But I think overall right now, it's a good job on onboarding. We were made aware of some spelling mistakes. Apparently, some spelling mistakes need to be fixed. Now, don't get me wrong, this dude might be super into it. And honestly, I think another way we can cater. Let's see. Another way we can cater to this guy with doing like a full art. And this is gonna be the same with the monster manual. I'm still gonna do a half size, but I'm going to essentially have like two versions. The half size, just with how it is, because realistically, the foes are probably gonna have about like 1 or 2 pages, and that's just gonna burn through pages pretty fast. So that's really why I want to do a full magazine size of all the stuff. But I want to make sure that we have a cheaper alternative that you still get a good amount of value in. So I want to make sure that we give this guy some cool art. Overall, I think the player's guide is pretty good. I definitely think that just because of space constraints, we're missing out on like some cool full art stuff. Um, okay, and something kind of like Tom Bloom does. He does a really good job with like making cool story. But I think like overall, we got a thing. The big thing with this, and this would be done by the show, by like making a little like a visual novel type show, is that this guy's gonna need someone to tell him. So the idea is that we make cool, kind of like how Shonen Jump works. So we want to make cool stuff. Well, okay, that's not quite. That's not quite right. Okay, we want to make cool secondary media. Cool reason why is because it's gonna sound really hard for TTR makers, TTRPG makers. Sorry. You can make a really cool book, but if you're not selling it, if the art isn't cool, if the person's reading a lot, and I'm not saying they don't, but if the person's like reading a bunch, you can get away with just text. But I hate to be that guy, but I really feel like for me personally and the people that I see in my life, cool art and cool secondary material sells it. You don't have to go crazy with that. You can just make like a little like weekly post of like what's going on. That's a great ass idea right there. That's what I should be doing. But having interesting art can get them in there. But if you make nice like lore videos and stuff like that, you can really get them in all the way to your world. And that's something I currently feel that Ruin Runners is missing. So we're going to be trying to fix that in the upcoming one, preferably with the show. However, we might try to figure out, even if it's just making like some cool art to share online, we're going to be figuring out something like that with some other things that this guy's, because that's a big thing. And this is going to sound really mean to TTRPG makers, but seriously, if you don't got cool art, or at least distinct art, and just something that pops, I don't feel like it's gonna pop. It's not gonna be interesting. And I'm not saying you might not have an interesting world. I just, from my experience of like knowing what I gravitate towards, the stuff that sold me was the art and the idea. Um, yeah. All right. What are some of the things that I want to make sure that the new guy I want, and I might need to go through it again, but easy to read rules. This kind of goes to the easy onboarding. I want all the rules that I make to be worded pretty concisely, and I feel like I need to go through and check. I think I did a good job. However, I was told there were some spelling errors that were pretty bad, so I might need to go through into that. All right. Well, I think we've talked about new guy enough. Oh, little new guy. You're gonna have so much fun. The big thing, and I've got some other TTRPG creators that I'm working with right now, is basically getting this guy, because this guy might be super cool and and love TTRPGs. However, their only experience might be D&D. Actually, we'll give him a little flop bubble. We'll give him a little flop bubble. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, we got D&D. So this guy's coming from it, or girl, or non-binary. I don't give a crap. Either way, whatever this little blob is, little ones thinking through this ideas of D&D, and so the problem is D&D, and it's lost a bunch of retail in the design space, or conscious space, is mostly because they've just screwed up so much that now it's, and I feel like this isn't going to be as much of a thing in the next like 10, 15 years. I don't think D&D is going to have as much of a hold on the current industry as it does. So I really think that this problem will sort itself out of little guy going, oh well, it's D&D, and that's a great selling point. Ironically, going like, oh well, it's D&D, because that's just how the average person goes. Oh well, that's tabletop role playing games. Um, so that's the only thing I think being a little bit of an issue there. And I could be wrong. I'd love to hear you guys in the comments. Please let me know. All right, let's talk about Mr. Oldhead. Let's move him down a little bit. Okay, we're gonna scoot him down. All right, so this guy. So originally, okay, now I've moved away from the original thing. I know originally this was the person who's played before, and this is who hasn't. But little design thing. This is for experienced TTR players. Let's see. Okay, so let's talk about. So this is old dude, old blob. I don't know his gender. Blob. All right, old blob has played TTRPGs before. Played TTRPGs and is willing to try new systems. The big thing I think with this guy, obviously, we've still got the needs a unique play, because I feel actually okay. You know what? I think simple to understand play. So this isn't to say that a new person is necessarily looking for like deep play, but simple to understand is going to go a lot better to try to sell stuff and to make it so that this guy has more fun than unique. Like BattleTech's unique, but a lot of people aren't playing because of how complex those rules are, which is honestly sad. So unique rules. This guy is looking for something new, something cool. I feel like another thing. Unique setting. I think I've got this down with Ruin Runners. I'd love to hear. I'm probably off from that. I feel like I've got this down pretty good with Ruin Runners, and I think this is. I think these two are pretty good selling points. This one. So art. Now this could go either way with Old Head. If they're really just like they're burning through them, they're more going to be like a art settings. Well, I already said settings. I'm an idiot. They're gonna want something that's like pops, and I really feel that doing simple color palettes really helps stuff pop. That's kind of some of the design thought behind TTRPG. Is I really wanted to make sure that one for it was easier for production wise, but it was also easier to like show off. Just making sure that's some other things. Long term. Still have the thing. This guy's gonna want like new stuff not constantly, but this guy's gonna want new stuff. So the idea, especially once we get the monster guy done, is to make it so we can actually drop stuff more consistently. Right now we've got okay, so we're going to duplicate that. We're gonna shrink that. And we're gonna go. So right now these are the current things that are making it getting in the way of being able to make stuff at a higher rate. Okay, so let's talk about me. Okay, so I know I've got my little cat guy, but let's talk about me. I'll make that. That's good, a little thing. And then give him a little hoodie, because, I do love me some hoodies. Alright, there we go. Alright, this is... I'll give him a little teardrop, because we're thinking about not design constraints. Production constraints. Okay, and so for people that are also making stuff, this is something you need to be honest with yourself about. I know we'd love to shoot for the sky, and I'm not saying you shouldn't, but we also want stuff to be able to come out. So, the construction constraints. Right now, started simple. I've got, I am working. Obviously, it takes some time away from it. I need to make money, frankly, and it was a little sad dropping my newest zine. I really didn't want to lock behind a paywall, but I've got to stop bringing in some income, guys. Like I'm not even trying to be a money whore here, but I've got bills to pay, and one of the things that has really changed kind of my situation is I've got a wife and kids now. Well, kid, beautiful, beautiful little girl. I love that child. But these are some of the production constraints. We've got just me. I'm not gonna lie, I can pop stuff out fast if I've got the time. Um, Honestly, I feel like I can 50, 60. I feel like 2, 3 months. If I was working full time, well, honestly, okay. I want to say I could get it done. Get stuff like a whole 60-page zine done, or a 60-page like module, whether it's a monster manual, a lore module. I want to say I could get it done in a month and a half, but realistically, I probably like 2 to 3 months, and that's just with me. So going forward, I'd really like us to be able to eventually get to the point where we are able to hire more. The main thing that I'd want to hire people for is I'd like another artist. Or make sure let's see. Let's see. Solutions. All right. So yeah, thinks through stuff. You think through solutions. So obviously, I'd like to hire some people. Specifically, I'd like to get on the artist end. Um, I know probably the smarter thing would be an editor, but the blunt truth is, I feel like one of the big things holding back is the lack of art. Like I would just love for it to like pop, like every single page have some super cool stuff. But really, it would be nice to hire another person, hire another like 2 or 3 people. That way, so I can do the visual novel show easier. But these are right now these are the 2 big things that are getting in the way of production. So, and honestly, if we got those like sorted out, and I could be off, I think realistically, and we're a long way there. So, when I say all this, I'm not going to think of oh you should give me money or stuff like that. Um, Realistically, I'd love you to look at my stuff, and if you think that hey, this is a guy that has stuff that I'd like to support, I love you to back my projects. You know, like help me out. Now, if you don't, I don't want you to do that. I don't like make people feel guilty for money and stuff like that. But it's just the nature of the beast. But no, the idea for okay, so yeah, these are the productions constraints. Right now, I'm doing just digital, but eventually, I'd like us to go into print. So print-wise would be print costs. Print costs. One of the benefits of keeping it mostly digital is that I don't have to worry about overhead for that. But long term, once the okay, so you know what, this can just be shrunk. So long term, let's do something cool. You know what? Let's do like a melting. Yeah. Nah, that could have been cooler. Let's see. Yeah, that could have been way cooler. Okay, well, you know what? This is not my best work. I'm gonna keep it a hundo. God, this is not. This is well, not my worst. Okay, now it's just killing it. Okay, you know what? That'll work. Long term, we're going to do a Kickstarter. So the big thing is to get the Kickstarter done, we are going to need to make sure that. Okay, so Kickstarter, and then let's do the requirements underneath it. Okay, and I know I got chicken scratch here. It's just hard to think, right? You know. All right. So big thing for Kickstarter, we're going to need obviously the player's manual done, which if we do half, it is done now. We're going to need a monster manual. Sorry, we call them foes in the world of runners. We need a foe manual, and then I'd like to have a RRC guide. Now the problem is if we keep it in half, we're going to need. Let's see. So let's see. RRC. That's what I call. That's what's the GM is called. Okay, and if we don't do a full magazine size, aka we've added an extra lore, extra stuff, we're going to need an additional lore book. It's going to have some additional lore / weapons, because right now the initial player's guide, there's a good amount of stuff in there, but for the intro, but long term, they're gonna need more stuff. Gear. So I'd like an additional book if we can't do it, having lore, additional gear, and some additional classes, both minor and major. This is what's going to need to be finished before the Kickstarter. And this isn't talking about backer goals, which I'm going to keep it hundo. I'm probably going to keep it really simple. So these are all things that need to be done before, and these are not including backer goals. Some backer goals that I think would be really cool. So let's shrink that. Alright, some cool backer goals that I'd like to provide. I would like to provide some cardboard miniatures. Let's make something fun. You know what? I think I need to fat it up. Alright, let's give it a little bit of fat. Make it a big old fat bowl. Let's give it a cool brush. Nah, I'm not going too crazy. Actually, you know what? Let's just do a basic. Let's give it a nice, like... Yeah! Okay. Okay. Sorry. I love a good, like, little text thing. So, I'm going to just have a little fun. I'm just going to do backers. So, mostly because you guys know. I know. Oh, I could have done something cool with that. Okay. And then... There we go. Okay, that's popping better. Okay, so we're gonna need backer goals. These are some extra little things that I'd like to provide. I'd really like to do like a little snazzy thing um, how the Mothership TTRPG did it. And I know, I just keep being like, Mothership this, Mothership that. But realistically, I'd really like to. I think they've made a really slick product, and I think that it's something that's going to stand out. I think that overall, the simplicity of Mothership, and at least from what it looks like they took their time to really get people into it, really helped everything to pop. So one of the ways we're going to start doing that is through these videos. We're going to be doing lore videos and stuff like that, but we're going to be starting do more media that isn't relying on TikTok as much. We relied mostly on TikTok for now. And judging by the will they won't they in America over here, it sucks, BT dubs. I'm not trying to make that my main place. Alright, some backer goals. I want to make, let's see, I want to make some little, like, not terrain, but like little square terrain, you know, like little map things. And then basically have be cardboard, and then you like do something kind of like this. You have one side where essentially it's like lit up, and then you have one side that would just be just unseen. I think that'd be a fun little way. The only worry with this is that as a ROC, I'd be worried about the players knowing exactly where they're going or where everything is. So I think that would be need to be revealed. Um, both these little tiles, I'd like to make a multiple combat boards. You know what? Screw it. It's okay if the spelling's wrong. Multiple combat boards. The main thing is the one that's in the player's guide is not meant to be the only one. I do think, especially the more and more I've really thought about it, is that it needs to be bigger because I want players to move around more. That's why I've also edited. Going forward, I'm going to be a lot more constrictive about the area of attacks. I feel that they're good for beginning players, but I really want people to move around and have to really consider where they're at. But I'd like to have essentially it's like a flip one. So you'd have let's see, you'd have like a little binder, and then it would have all these different combat boards on it. And so I'd like to have multiple ones on there that have different ways. That way, so people can really have fun, and that way, so you can also do it based on the encounter. The way it is now, it's just not fun. Also, I'd like to make little like it wouldn't be like full like miniatures, but little like cardboard print miniatures. Let's see, cardboard minis. So they'd have the cardboard like this, and then you'd have that little plastic thing. I'd like to make one for runners, obviously, and then I'd like to make monster ones. The big thing is just making sure that size-wise they'd match up. My thought is maybe when I make the monster guide to make little mini versions of the ones that way so that they can be made and placed in there. I know that other games will just take full art and they will just go in and chuck it on there. I'd like to kind of avoid that if possible. Not saying I'm going to make it exact size, but due to how I make my stuff, it's just gonna pop a lot better. Like I throw a lot of detail in there, so I'd rather make more simplified versions, not chibi, but just little more simplified versions of the ones. That way, so that it's easier to see. I think they pop better. So mostly, I just really want like, I really want there to be more actual like game, like board elements that people can have to make things easier for GMs. I know that can be like hard. Not everyone can throw down a giant mat, and yeah, I think that would go a long way in making it cooler for people. But these are some backer stuff that I'd like to make. Oh! I thought of one more. Okay, another one is I'd like to make move cards or skill cards. Yes, we'll do skill cards. Skill cards. Okay, the big thing is I feel that, and I might just make a print one that you can cut up and essentially have little flashcards. I think that right now the player sheet is a little complex in a way that isn't as readable, and so I'd rather just have skill cards. Skill cards people can just pull. Oh, I have this skill. Throw it down. It'd be great. I think it would really help stuff pop a lot easier, and it would make it so that people aren't sitting there trying to sort through their their list of moves. Let's see, and then let's see. Oh, daggum. Okay. But I think that could help new players and would make onboarding easier for people. But these are some things that I'd really like to do as the backer goals. Realistically, the main ones that that I'd focus on when we finally do get to this port is the multiple combat boards and the cardboard minis, um, and maybe the skill cards. Although I think what I might do is just have make a print page that has you could chop it up. Let's see something. Probably bigger than that, but something like that. But I think that could be cool. I think it could help stuff pop, and I really think it could do a long way in anything. But all right, so I will shrink that. All right, in summary, what have we talked about today here, guys? What have we talked about? We have talked about... Okay, there you go. We have talked about the to-dos. We've got the Monster Manual is the next thing that we're going to be doing, and we're working on the show. Those are two big things coming up. We talked about the different ways we'll do, the different, how we're going to be catering to these. With this guy, we're going to be releasing once everything's done. But once everything's done, for this guy, we're gonna make sure we're gonna try to be, especially once we're funded or we're in a better place. Or at least yearly, I want to make sure that this guy can get cool stuff, cool additions to the game. Hopefully on a 2-3 months basis. If it's still just me, we don't have the funding, probably a year basis. I want this guy to be able to think. And this guy, I want to make sure that I'm consistently trying to make stuff that makes people interested in the world of Ruin Runners, and makes it so that people can check it out and be super wowed by it, and really be super happy, then we talked about some of the problems that we've got right now. Well, not problems, product constraints. We've got the fact that I'm currently working, and it is just me. We also talked a little bit about print costs. Then we talked about the long term, some stuff that we'd like to do. Kickstarter, obviously, and then we talked about things that are going to be done before the Kickstarter can be done. We also talked about the backer rewards, some of the stuff that we want to do for it. But thank you guys very much for checking out this video. I know this video has gone on super long. Oh, let that guy eraser pen. Bollocks. I know this has gone on a little long, and I really appreciate all the support from you guys. So thank you for everything you've done. You guys rock. And dadgum. Okay, well, I was gonna do a little ended one, but Photoshop decided to be funky on me. Anyway, you guys rock. Have a great rest of the day, and I'm gonna keep making. Next thing I'm thinking about is a lore vid. We're gonna start doing stuff like that. We're really going to be trying to talk about some game design. We're gonna be talking about ruiners. We're gonna be talking about how we do stuff in general, and it's gonna be super fun. Anyway, thank you guys for watching the video. You have a great rest of the day. Bye. Oh, I forgot one more thing. Alright, anyway, check out Ruin Runners TTRPG. You can get all my zines. We got side quests. This one's pretty cool. This is essentially a venture module. I've got all this stuff on itch.io. Also got sketchbooks and you girls. On itch.io, I've got it on coffee.com. It's in the shop. And if you support my monthly membership, all my zines are free. And then okay, well, and then my gumroad. Feel free to check all these out. I would love if you guys purchase something that I really appreciate it. Anyway, you guys have a great rest of the day. Love you.